Get going. So statistics. All right. First thing that we're going to talk about, again, a lot of the concepts that we're talking about today are things that you should hopefully be somewhat familiar with if you had Algebra 1 before. So mean, median, mode, and range is the main focus of what we're talking about today. So I'm going to try to go over some of the basics here, and then, we'll go from there. Let me see if I can get a little more light on this paper so it's brighter for you guys. I don't know if that helped at all, but all right, statistics. So, sorry about my kids yelling in the background as well. I'm the only one home with them today, so they may come and interrupt us every once in a while, but that's all right. So mean, median, mode. Oh, hello. Range. All right. So now, these are the four main things that we need to know when it comes to statistics. The mean is also known as the average. Hey, Emma, you need to bite? Okay, go, and I'll be in there in a second, okay? All right, can I hold on to this? I'm gonna pause this. Okay, all right, that's fine. Let me pause this, and then you can go and call for me when you're done. Sorry about that. All right. Hold on, I got somebody in the waiting room here. I know I have an Evelyn, I just don't know if it's spelled that way. Give me 1 second here to figure out if I should let this person in. Okay. Hold on, my daughter needs me. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. This is what slowed down my meeting for geometry as well. Give me a moment. Zoom recording. Okay, so mean, median, mode, range. Mean is the average. Emma, please turn that down. Thank you. All right. The average. Now, the median, that's the middle. Mode, the most. Range, the difference. So these are some of the easy ways to think about these things. So mean means the same thing as doing an average. The median is the middle value. Mode is the value that appears the most often, and then range is the difference between the values from the biggest to the smallest. So these are just, again, the main ideas of them. So I'm going to go into a little more detail here off to the side as well. So the average, again, the way you find the average is you do the sum of the values over the number of values. Sum of values over the number of values.
Daddy, where's Emma?
I'm not sure, buddy. Hold on 1 second. No, I was muted. Sorry, I had kids talking at one point and I muted myself, and I don't even know when I muted myself. And I missed that in the text. I'm so sorry. If that ever happens, you're more than welcome to send me a message on Remind, because I see the reminds much faster. There's no way for me to put a sound on the like text to notify me that there's a new text. I don't think so. Or at least I haven't been able to find one. Let me recap a little bit as to what we just did, because I don't know when I muted myself. I may have been all the way back at this point. I think we had got through all these, definitely. I think the last time I muted myself was somewhere around the time of this example. So let me go back to example 1 real fast and just go over some of it. So in example 1, it said find mean, median, mode, and range of each set. We had our set of numbers. So we had the mean was the sum of all of them together divided by the number of values. So we added them all up, divided by the number that there were. So we got the 47.9. The median, we added them all up. Sorry, the median, we put them in order. I put a line under each one as I reordered them so that I knew that I used them. So that we rewrote the same numbers, but actually in order from least to greatest. So the median was the middle number. So again, I just use my fingers to cover them up as I go. Some people like to cross them off as they go. Again, I just covered them up as I went until I found the middle number. Then the mode was the one that appeared the most often in that first set. It was 47. And then the range was the number based on the difference of the biggest number minus the smallest number. So on that first one, it was 20. The second example that I was doing was a little bit different because we had an even number of values. Let me zoom out just a hair. We had an even number of values on this one. So for this one, we had 18, 15, 19. Okay, that whole setup there at the top. There's 14 different values. So again, we still did mean and range pretty much the same identical way. Mean, we added them all up. I got 243 divided by 14, gave us 17.4. For range, we found a difference. We took the biggest number minus the smallest number, and it gave me 9. The median and the mode on this one were slightly different because for median, since there was an even number of values, we took all the numbers, we have them in order, but since there's 2 left in the middle, because when you go through the numbers and you cover them up one at a time until you get to the middle numbers, there's actually 2 left over because there's an even number of values, so you're not just going to have one in the middle. So that's where we had to do an average of just the 2 numbers in the middle. So we take the 2 numbers, add them together, divide by 2. That gave us 17. For the mode on this one was also a little tricky because lots of the numbers appeared more than once. So we had to look for which ones appeared the most often. Well, 2 of them appeared 3 times. The 15 appeared 3 times, and the 22 appeared 3 times. So both of those would be considered the mode. And then the example of the histogram down there that I was showing you guys, that is, again, that's just an example of what that means to be a histogram. So if we were to draw a histogram, it's basically a picture is representing each number. It could be a dot, it could be a star, it could be anything. But this is a histogram. So we have 2 13s. I just went through and put them on as many times as they were. So 2 13s, 3 15s, 2 16s, 2 18s, 2 19s, and then 3 22s. So each one of those represents a number from that set. Now, there's a couple other ways that you could see some of these things represented. A bar graph is similar to a histogram. So I'm going to do a bar graph underneath this one. Bar graph. So there's 3 main ones that I want to go over that you probably don't see as often. Again, if it's just given to you as a list of values or a table of values, that's fine. But if it's given to you in one of the 3 methods I'm going to show you right now, they might give you the values like this, so then you'd have to take the numbers off and write them down as a list of values so that you can do some other work. For a bar graph, it's essentially the same thing as a histogram. So we could have 13, we write every value this time, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And then I'm going to have lines over here of 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, because nothing appears more than 3 times. So 13 appears twice. So we can draw a little bar graph up to 2. For 14, doesn't appear at all. 15 appears 3 times. 16 appears twice. Now, sometimes they'll put space in between the bars. Sometimes they'll just put them right next to each other. Either way is fine. 17 doesn't have any. 18, that has 2. 19 also has 2. And 21. Oh, sorry, 22 is only a 3, not 21. 22. So again, that'd be a bar graph with the same data. The last one that you should be familiar with is the stem and leaf plot. Let's see what that was. Okay. So for the stem and leaf plot, all these numbers begin with either a 1 or a 2. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a line here. And I'm going to put 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, for the first number that we had on this list, it was 13. So it begins with a 1 and then has a 3 for the second digit. What this means, that is actually representing 13 because the tens place is a 1, the ones place is a 3. So I'm going to do down here a key as well. Key, I'm going to say that 1/3 equals 13. So now for all the other numbers, well, I had 13, I had twice, so I'm going to have 3, 3, then 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 8, 8, 9, 9, and then 2, 2, 2. And what this means is these all begin with a 1. So this is 13, 13, 15, 15, 15, 16, 16, 18, 18, 19, 19, 22, 22, 22. Again, it's just another way of representing data. So again, statistics is all about data, and I try to go over the 3 that you might be the least familiar with. Again, if they just give it to you as a list or they give it to you as a chart, those are much easier than these 3. But on a worksheet that I'm posting for tomorrow, that it's going to have some of these things on there. So you need to be familiar with them. Also for the worksheet for tomorrow, I included a couple probability things because that's where we're going next. And on Wednesday, we'll do some notes on probability. But I would just wanted you guys to start trying them to see if you guys remembered anything about probability. But we'll talk more about probability in the notes on Wednesday. Did you guys have any questions for me? Okay. I know I went slightly over our normal time as we normally end at 12, but my last class got pushed back and pushed this one back, and it's been a crazy day. Any questions? Sorry about being on mute. Probably would have finished earlier if I hadn't muted myself. All right, well, I will save this video and I'll post it, and I'll make a note about how I accidentally muted myself for a little while. So I'll post both of these to YouTube. And if you have questions, again, I'll be on here again tomorrow during my office hours so that you guys can ask questions. All right, have a good one.